G'day everyone, Viv here. I hope you're all keeping well. Welcome back. This is my daughter Charlotte. Say hello, sweetheart.
Hello.
She loves to be in videos with me. You might have seen her on my Rubbish In, Rubbish Out channel. Anyway, she's here in the hobby room today watching Paw Patrol on the TV while I am painting up some stacks of crates. So let's have a look at how we paint these. They're very quick, very simple. You could leave these as just raw MDF. You know, they don't look too bad. But you know, everything else on the table is going to be painted.
I have to get off.
You have to get off? Okay, off you go. See you, sweetheart. You could leave these as just raw MDF, but you know, they look much better painted. So let's have a look at how we do these. It's very easy. So the first step is to give it that coat of this brown paint. This is that S80 paint from the Graffiti Art Store. It's A534. So we just give it a light coat all over the model. We don't need to cover the whole model with this paint. We just need to give it a light dust. It is okay if some of the black shows through in the corners and whatnot. That's not a massive problem. So this is a very good paint. It dries very, very quickly. With the hair dryer on this, you know, these pieces are dry in sort of a couple of minutes. So there we go. Quick spray with this brown paint. So the next step is to use this tan coloured paint. This is another sample pot from British Paints. I can't remember the name of the colour. If I do remember it or find out, I'll put it in the description. So this is going to be a fairly heavy dry brush, probably more an overbrush than a dry brush. You can see that that paint's going on much thicker than you'd normally expect from a dry brush. We basically want to get that into all the crevices and cracks. You could use a smaller brush, but I'm finding that this big brush gives me the result that I'm looking for. So we're basically going to go over the whole model, trying to get into those cracks. And as your brush dries out, you know, you can get it in there a little bit more. You know, trying to cover, you know, most of the model. It's going to be very difficult to get into the corners like this, but you know, the result that we end up is going to look fine. So now that we've finished applying that first hand color to all of our pieces, we want to go ahead and do just a very gentle dry brush with you know, adding a little bit of white into that paint that we started with. So I put a little bit of paint, a little bit of white paint on my palette, and then with that same brush, it hasn't been rinsed, you know, I take a little bit of the initial color and start mixing it into the white. And if I need more color, I keep coming back and, you know, just grab a bit more, mix it in until I'm happy with the color that I want for my sort of my final color. And you know, we just go through just like a normal dry brush now and highlight the model. So this is going to look fairly extreme at this point, but once we come around to weathering, you know, this is all going to be muted down, including that first tan color that we put on. So there we go. Just go over and dry brush the whole model. Okay, so at this point you could probably call these done. You know, I want my crates to be look like they're quite weathered, but so I'm going to go ahead and add some more some of this oil to it. You know, I've talked about these water-based wood stains before, and we'll have a close look at that in just a second. But now that you've done this, I mean, those would be good to go. As I mentioned though, I want my crates to be much dirtier. You can see here in the two examples, this one on the right here has been, you know, fairly significantly weathered. I want my crates to appear like they've been sitting around for quite some time. You know, they're very dirty, whatnot. So we're going to apply some of this oil. Now this is just a water-based wood stain that I picked up from my local hardware store. For those here in Australia, I got this from Bunnings. It's the Cabot's Woodcraft Stain. It's water-based, and I've chosen the antique walnut colour. There's lots and lots of different colours. Anyway, so we're going to go ahead and apply this straight from the can. You can dilute this stuff if you want to, but in this instance, I'm not going to. The example that I've already done here has been applied straight. Now, you could water it down if you don't want it to be so dirty. And you'd still get some of that shading sort of happening, but in my case I'm going to go ahead and apply it straight to my model. Now you want some paper towel to be handy. In this case I've just got some tissue paper, and we're quite literally going to just apply this straight onto the model in a fairly thick liberal coat. And you want to make sure that you're getting this into, you know, all the cracks and the crevices of the crates. Okay, once I've got that over the whole model, It's just a matter now of coming out with your paper towel and, you know, cleaning it up. Just dabbing onto the surface just to take up anything that you don't want on there. Obviously soaking up the excess. So after the crates have settled for a little while, you'll notice that it starts to pool a little bit in some of the bottom sections. Now, if you don't want that there, then, you know, just come back with your tissue and, you know, try and just soak a little bit of that up if you don't want it there. So there we have it. I'm all finished. I'll just hit them with a bit of a hairdryer and, you know, dry them off for a little while, and, you know, they're finished. So there we go, nice quick simple paint job on these stacks of crates. I've got a lot more of these to do for our studio's collection so that we can you know, have a lot of them. They're great to put down alleyways, behind buildings. They're great for breaking up line of sight and, you know, just scattering across the table to you know, give a little bit of cover to our figures as they're running around the table. So there we go. If you've got any questions or queries or feedback, please leave them in the description below or in the comments below. If you've got any suggestions for what we can make tutorials for, please let us know. Don't forget to check out our Facebook. Go ahead and join our community group on Facebook. Share pictures of what you're working on. We'd love to see them. Thanks for tuning in. I'll catch you next time. See ya.